Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Big Jiu-Jitsu Show. Don't forget to check out our sponsor, Strap and Roll Soap Company. Go to the webpage, buy yourself a Scrub Economy for Mommy shirt, the Jiu-Jitsu shirts, collab between the two of us, buy some soap, buy whatever you need from there. It's some of the best shirts, soap, whatever you want, man. It is amazing. Go buy it there. And our other sponsors, don't forget to check them out, Tape Armor as well as Rolls Gear, and you can find all of our old episodes at bjjshow.com. I'm Rob, and Randy and I talked a little bit about, I guess, drug use, and it got a little, I don't know if deep or sad is really what I'm looking for when I describe this episode, but it kind of was a little bit all over the place. But I hope you guys enjoy how we talked about it, kind of our opinions on it. We talked about Helson and how he was acquitted, and then some of the other, I guess, not so good parts of drug use in the BJJ and combat sports community. But if you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to like and subscribe to us on iTunes or whatever your favorite podcast app is. And then I hope you guys like this episode. So it was trivia. It was only 3 rounds. And I went because Chelsea wanted to go. She's like, "Hey, we're going to trivia tonight." I'm like, "All right, cool. Let's do trivia." Haven't done trivia. Well, we had in a while. We went to a local place. So the weird thing about out here is it's either like really, I guess, refined or like gruff as shit. So we went to this one place, and what was it? It's like one of those you can tell you're probably not if you got a little bit of manners and you kind of don't have prejudices against people, you might not fit in there for whatever it is. So I was like, probably not my cup of tea. But this place, it was kind of like, what was it? So it's Hugger Mugger Brewery, great brewery. Beer is awesome. Wasn't a fan of the trivia because it was 3 rounds. Nothing wrong with that. You had to pull like random cards at the beginning of the game that you can use anytime, like change an answer to one of the questions and nobody else knows what you changed it to, or make another group of people not be able to talk to each other, or I can look at somebody else's page, or you instantly get like 5 extra points. And it was just like off the wall. And then in between each round, you had to do an activity that would get you points for each round dependent upon, so like the first part was paper airplanes, and then we had to make a paper airplane, and whoever's paper airplane went the furthest, they got bonus points. So I was like, okay, not bad. And then it just started getting real fucking silly near the end. Because it was like, oh, this team just used this card. This means that they get 5 bonus points. And then this team used this card. That means that everybody has to scratch out one of their answers. So it went from like knowing shit to playing a fucking card game. And it really just agitated me.
Well, I don't understand why they'd add all those fancy rules to it. I mean, you don't really need all that extra stuff to make trivia fun.
No. It was 3 rounds. It was good. Like, give me just basic shit. I come for trivia, not for the activities. And it's also trivia, so calm down. Like, please don't freak out over trivia.
Yeah.
So like,
hey, some of those people take that shit seriously, though.
I know, but then you add like these cards on top of it, and they go fucking ape shit. It's like every question, there was like 3 or 4 people like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and use this card, and it's going to. No, I don't give a shit. Either you know the answer or you don't, and let's all move on.
Yep, exactly.
Word. Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Big Jiu-Jitsu Show. I'm Rob.
I'm Randy.
And you guys like ran into my tirade about trivia nights in certain places. So, and nobody ever does like UFC or BJJ or MMA trivia.
Of course not.
Of course, no. Dude. Like my fucking subject. I've gotten 90s movies. I did fucking well on that, but
I've had it where they've asked about in a sports context some boxing related questions, which I've had answers to, but never MMA or jiu-jitsu for sure.
Yep. That's just another sign that we're not mainstream. It's because we're not including trivia nights.
I will say Hugger Mugger though, they do have some good beers. I've never been to their brewery, but I've had their porter at Bass Lake Draft House in Holly
Yeah.
Springs, and that beer was phenomenal. So
Dude, get it from the source, man. Hugger Mugger makes delicious beer, man. I do.
yeah,
I do enjoy it.
We'll have to go out there sometime.
Yeah, it's like a halfway point between us, I think.
I think so.
So you coach today, right?
I did. So I'm actually dealing with I don't want to even say injury necessarily, but just doing some PT and some police training. I took a bad spill and scraped up my elbow pretty bad. Like it's kind of gouged pretty deep. And so it's one of those injuries that, it's not going to keep me out of work. It's not going to stop me from working out, but I can't really roll with it,
Yeah.
But I coached today in the kickboxing. Jiu-jitsu tonight was taught by Jeff Baum, which was always
nice.
Yeah, it's always a good time. So I did the technique portion of the class. I didn't roll, but he went over some real slick inverted armbar attacks. So it was pretty cool. And
Was it gi tonight for you guys?
Yes.
All right.
Which I have to say, even though I'm still a big fan of Origin, I did purchase a gi from a different company and try it out tonight.
What'd you get?
So it's by Half Sumo. It's a relatively new gi company that I found. They do more than just gis. They do clothing and stuff too, but it's all jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai related. And I'm actually pretty impressed with the gi. I mean, I'll still keep buying stuff from Origin, of course, but the gi is pretty nice. I got it because it has some of the classic Japanese artistry on it.
Right.
So it's got a unique look to it. I'll just show it to you, but it's pretty slick.
Excited to see it. I mean, I've got my closet of show your roll. Show your rolls. Got a couple show your rolls, but mostly Origin gis though. But I don't really discriminate against certain gis. But I just like supporting Origin because of what they're doing is making it American made. But like I said, man, fucking show your roll came out with that Ryan Hall Dune gi, and being a Dune nerd dork, or try to combine the two words there, I definitely had to get one. So I'm sorry. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's, brand loyalty is a thing to a degree. I think it's good to stand behind a company like Origin because exactly what you said, they support, it's a good product to stand behind based on their mission, and I like that a lot. But had to try another gi. I like it. And then I taught kickboxing after that. So that's what I'm coming off of at the moment.
Yeah, I think I'm going to make it my Tuesday night ritual to drive up there and do gi and kickboxing with you guys every week that I can.
We'd love to have you out. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, no, I just need to. I was talking about it, and it goes in with fits and so, where you fit in and whatnot. And to me, it's more or less like I'm happy to go somewhere where I know people and not be the new guy. And I mean, not necessarily the new guy, but the nobody knows you, and I'm standing there like an asshole type thing. But no, I'll just get back up there, and then been hitting a lot of the elliptical and lifting some weights, trying to get everything all together.
Yeah. We're kind of in the same boat. I adjusted some of my nutrition about a month or so ago now.
Yeah.
Just wanting to kind of, I don't know. I think I got a little off track. Not that I was eating like shit, but I definitely wasn't eating as clean as I probably could have.
Yeah.
So kind of doing the same thing. Feel pretty good about it. My conditioning has improved and stuff. So, but yeah. I mean, other than that, just staying on the train, working hard, training hard, sleeping hard, of course. All the hard work.
Oh my God. I think the interesting thing about being on night shift and trying to do all this training, right, is I'll wake up and I have time to exercise before I go to work. But I legit sleep. I'll come home right after shift, get in bed, and sleep for 9 hours. Because I will get off of work, shower, and sleep. I won't stay up and do anything. And for whatever reason, it's probably the best and longest period of sleep I usually get, just because I'm I'm getting bed, and nobody messes with me.
Yeah. And night shift for me is still kind of a weird thing. There are some things I like about it, but I still really don't like the way it affects my sleep. Good. I'm getting ready to go back to day shift now.
Oh, nice.
Um, but I will say this: I bought something. It's called Fade Out,
Okay.
and it's by Redcon One, which is a nutrition company, and it has a host of different things in it. It's got like melatonin in it. It's got what are some of the other sleep things like L-theanine and a host of different other things in it, and it's just the right amounts of each one that you need. I have never slept so good on night shift in my entire life.
Really?
Yes, it works phenomenal. And here's the thing I like about it: my phone goes off because I'm on call most of the time, like you are.
Right. Yeah.
I'm still going to hear it. I don't wake up feeling groggy. Um, if anything, I kind of felt more alert throughout the day because I got a better quality sleep. So might be something to check out.
No, I definitely will. Because like I said, I got like 3 months on nights, and then coming up, and I don't know what my shift is going to be. I have an idea, but it's going to be fairly normal for 4 months. But it's going to be like 7 days off or 7 days on, no days off. So I'm going to need to probably take something that helps me go to sleep after. All I'll do out there is work and exercise and do jiu-jitsu at the place out there, and it'll be like 4 months, man. I wonder how much damage I can do to my body in 4 months, or how much improvements I can make if I keep that up like that. I have no distractions.
I imagine it'll help a lot.
I wonder if I can violently abuse steroids while I'm out there too. No, I don't need to be doing that. Don't need to do that. But no, I don't know. I kind of look forward to it. It's gonna suck working 7 days a week, but it's kind of like going to like a Rocky Balboa, going to the Russian wilderness training camp. Every day you're doing something.
Well, I mean that's what the steroids are for. It helps you recover between things, and.
I joked about it. I really don't. I really don't want to, especially at my age. And I'm not saying this as an old man. I'm saying it as like, I know some young cats doing like steroids at 18 or whatever, and it doesn't really affect their body as bad. I'm kind of wondering, like, is there more damage if you do it when you're older versus when you're younger because you can heal more, or like, I don't know the science behind it.
I don't either, but I would venture to say that it may not damage you as immediately when you're young, but I bet you there's long-term ramifications.
I think of like Kevin Randleman.
Right.
Randleman. Yeah, Kevin Randleman.
Yep.
About like that guy, fighting in Pride where they didn't test you for steroids, and apparently he did like a boatload of them. Just poor guy's system just shuts down, just from all the shit he did. And dude, there's not much to it. Like that seems to be kind of the theme with some of the athletes that combined steroids and drugs and all that stuff. Kind of like I think about pro wrestlers, like that's one of our favorite subjects on the show and just outside the show. Like how many of them have passed away just from, I guess, abuse, steroid abuse, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, there's definitely negative effects on the body, and it gets complicated too when you look at the different substances that are considered to be steroids or performing enhancing drugs, and how that affects the athlete and how it affects the sport.
Yeah.
So,
and because what was it? God, I always butcher his name. Duarte just popped the IBJJF for steroids, and of course everybody's talking shit now about it too.
I pulled up the article because I want to be a little bit more familiar with it. I hadn't heard about it initially, but he's claiming he's innocent, and I mean, of course he is, right?
Of course.
And cites cross contamination as the reason for the positive test.
Dude, that seems to be everybody's excuse though. Like, which Meow brother said that, and then there was a picture of him with his steroids in the background. Like, come on, bud. Like, just say you did it. The end. Take your punishment, and move on, man.
what happened in boxing and I'm sure it still does happen in boxing, but I'm remembering a specific incident involving one of my favorite boxers, Shane Mosley.
Yeah.
And this was back in like the early 2000s. He popped positive, and he was associated with that whole what was that company called? Belco.
Belco.
You remember Belco?
Don't say that. I can't say that I do, man.
So Belco, yeah, Belco. There were several athletes. I want to say some baseball players. It might have been A Rod. Um, there were several people that were popped positive in their drug tests, and they were some way, shape, or form tied to this laboratory.
Hmm.
Oh, here it is: Jason Giambi, Barry Bonds,
Yep.
Marion Jones, Bill Romanowski. Shane Mosley was also drawn into that, but they don't have his name listed here.
Oh, Balco.
Yep.
I looked up the Belko experiment. I was like, oh, dude, that movie's crazy. No, but okay, but yeah, it just seems to be like, oh, there's no way I couldn't have possibly done steroids cross contaminated. Like, okay, you just throw on like 20 pounds of lean muscle in a few months, and it's no problem. You had no idea. Just really good supplements.
Yeah, and here's another one. This is back. So this is Mosley, the one I was telling you about, September 2007. He inadvertently, supposedly took steroids. Said he didn't know that what he was taking had it in it. So it's same excuse every time, right?
Yeah, I mean, if it's tried and true, I mean, if it works for John Jones, I mean, fuck, why can't it work for anybody else? But then again, these guys aren't earning John Jones money, and they're not earning the IBJJF John Jones like UFC money. So
John Jones also beat up a guy for doing a line of cocaine. So I don't know.
oh, he was like, yeah, I trained 2 weeks before that fight, and although it was probably his closest fight, like then, dude, like that's actually quite amazing. He was able to do that.
Exactly. So I mean, I would strongly suspect that cocaine is probably not a performing enhancing drug. Couldn't say that right.
It's a partying drug. I mean, that dude loves to party. Can't get, Oh well. But speaking of drugs, Helsing got acquitted. They threw the charges out from if the listeners remember from last episode, we talked about Helsing getting busted with a whole bunch of CBD and THC related or marijuana related drugs, or not maybe recovery. What is it? Like supplements or whatever. Like, help his joints. I mean, Helsing's kind of an old guy, and we had said that we didn't really give a shit, but like you can't be driving on the federal highway, moving in between here and there or whatever. And then I guess the Brazilian police kind of felt the same way. They're just like, all right, cool. It's not like he's going out and selling them to people. He's using it because he's an older BJJ guy and he just wants his joints not to hurt, which I get.
Yeah, and I think I don't know the laws in Brazil, but I'm sure it has something to do with the fact that he's using public transportation as a method of getting it from point A to point B. But hey, that's great. If he got acquitted, then hopefully he learned his lesson and finds a better way to supply his needs.
I hear you, man. Can we get this on the Gracie diet now? Is that cool, or like we're gonna able to? But hey, dude, it's cool if I smoke this because Helsing did it, and if you can beat up Helsing, then you can tell me not to do it.
Yeah,
I don't think it really works that way. I'm not going to try it in court, but
yeah, they sent out another email to my employer. Sent out another email, mass email to the workers, reinforcing the fact that we're not supposed to use CBD products because they're not FDA approved, and you don't know how much THC you're getting, and so. I still can't use this stuff, but hey, if it's helping you guys out and it's anti-inflammatory and everything else, then as long as you're smart about the way you use it, that's really my concern. Yeah. So,
like we said, don't treat it like alcohol. Don't do it and drive. Don't do it and operate heavy machinery. Don't smoke and shoot guns. I mean, do whatever you want, man. As long as it doesn't affect me in a weird way. Like, I don't want to go outside and have a bunch of stoners in my front yard, you know,
Yeah.
trying to rob the place. But that never happened, so not really concerned.
No.
Although unless it gets laced with some weird shit, then you got some problems. I
And
imagine.
that happens nowadays. They got this whole thing where the people are putting fentanyl into a lot of different
Jesus
substances.
Christ.
You want to talk about fucking somebody up?
That's
So
Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
pretty good. So going back, man, what was this? 2 years ago now, maybe more. Um, I had an issue with my knee, and I didn't know what it was. Ended up being that I had contracted MRSA,
Ooh, good
um,
times.
and it basically I didn't know that I had MRSA, and so it went to the next stage, which is cellulitis.
Yep, that's a good time.
And so I had cellulitis in my knee, and I went to the hospital because my knee was swollen. It felt hot. There were red streaks going up my leg. So I go to the hospital, and after several painstaking hours of them sticking various sized needles in my knee and trying to tap it for fluid, and um, they determine what it is, and they give me fentanyl in an IV drip.
How'd that
And
go?
that is some strong shit. So I remember distinctly the doctor was digging into my knee. It was getting to the point of being unbearable as time went on, um, just wearing on my nerves, no pun intended. And the nurse came in and saw that I was struggling. I had sweat beads on my forehead. So she comes in there and she pops this tube into my IV that I had in my arm. And all of a sudden I felt warm. And I was like, what is that? So the doctor said, hey, how do you feel? I said, I feel fucking fantastic. But it was an eye opener for me because that's some powerful shit. And this is what they're lacing cocaine, heroin, different types of THC products with. That is some strong shit. And these are medical professionals, like experts that know how to measure it out the right way.
Yeah.
This isn't, some redneck backwoods guy that just like, that seems like enough.
Throw that shit in there with the heroin, Cletus. Let's see how it goes. Nah, but no, and I get the appeal of it. I can't do it. I actually get like sick. Like it. So when I had my vasectomy, they gave me Percocet, and I was like, hey, I don't like using it because the last time I had Percocet was when I had ACL replacement, and they were like, take a Percocet before you come to physical therapy. We're going to bend your knee like 90 degrees to get it started. I'm like, oh God. And just I think like maybe that did something mentally to me. Like, so when I take Percocet, it makes me like think about just like super duper, just awkward shit, like pain. And I like gives me like real bad nausea when I take it.
Right.
So, I remember I was like sitting there with, the bag of frozen peas on the crotch, and I'm sitting back in the love seat just watching like YouTube because why not? I'm like, oh fuck, like I don't want to take more ibuprofen because it's like it's getting to like that sharp point of the pain.
Right.
I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna take a Percocet, see if anything's changed in the past like 10 years. I took one and I was like, all right, let it settle in. I'm like, fuck, man, I feel floaty. Like, what do people do on Percocet? Make music. Okay, cool. I think that's what the hippies do or whatever. And then, asked my wife for my guitar, and I tuned it. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to try to play a little bit. And the fucking first chord I hit, it sounded like shit. People like hyped me. I was like, all right, dude, fuck this. And just put it back. And I was like, I'll just keep using ibuprofen. I don't like the feeling of it. If you're going to, like, get me to that point, I'd rather have something so... Like, it feels like drinking a lot, but without, I guess, maybe the social interaction or the... Like, oh, dude, I like drinking this beer because it tastes good. And I'm hanging out with my friends and joking. Not, I'm sitting here watching a YouTube video on, like, I don't know, modifications on Nissan cars.
And you can't even really absorb what you're watching. You're in this haze.
Yeah.
I mean, because they gave me hydrocodone for a really bad case of strep throat I had several years ago.
Right.
Which seemed a little heavy, right? It kind of seems like a pill mill if you're giving me hydros for a sore throat. But the biggest issue was it was so bad that I could not stay asleep. Every time I'd swallow, I'd wake up.
Ooh.
And
Fuck.
so I took one. So if nothing else, I'm like, hey, I can catch up on some sleep. And so I popped it, and I mean, I felt like crap. Anytime I took one, I just couldn't stay awake. And even when I was awake, I felt groggy and just shitty. So I don't get it, man. I'm like you. I just do not understand the draw to those types of substances.
Yeah, personally, I can't. I get some people can't stop themselves, but do you think now? Let's bring it back to BJJ. Do you think that we may have some issues here in the future with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, MMA, and opioids like this? Because what was it? Mark Kerr back in the day, the smashing machine,
Mm-hmm.
like was just ruining fools, and then he got addicted to opioids, like for painkillers, because he was all fucked up all the time.
There was a documentary on that, wasn't there?
Yeah, he's like he sells cars up in Arizona.
Wow.
Like, oh, well, I'm glad he's doing good. You know what I mean? But you went from like the guy who was supposed to be like the next, like he was supposed to be Fedor before Fedor was Fedor. I guess
Right.
a good analogy. But like, we're not mainstream yet. But are we going to start seeing kind of this seeping in? Like,
I guarantee you will, because I think anytime you have a sport like this that demands so much physically from you, and there's a high risk of injury based on the fact that it's a combat sport, anytime you have a high risk of injury, well, what do they give you when you're in pain, right? They
yeah,
give you opiates or opioids to deal with that pain, and then you're subject to addiction.
yeah,
It's no different for soldiers, for law enforcement, for fighters, for football players. You see a lot of this going around, so I think absolutely, and that's a scary thing. I wish that the medical field would better educate people about the risks of the substances they're giving them, because I think some people are completely oblivious, uh, and I wish they wouldn't give them out so readily sometimes.
I agree with that. I mean, using ibuprofen on a lot of stuff too. Like, my my left ring finger is pretty much just fucked completely from doing gi jiu-jitsu tournaments. Like it just for whatever reason, that's why I have to like tape all my fingers, because like the first time I dislocated / broke my finger was at a tournament, and my ring finger was like pointing across my middle and index finger in the middle of the match. I was
Ooh.
like, can't yell or else I get disqualified, and just kind of pulled my finger back the best I could, like into place, which
Yeah.
may have been a good thing, may not have been a good thing, who knows. But like I'll wake up a days and I can make a fist with my left hand, but my ring finger stays out a little bit because it just for whatever reason it doesn't catch. So am I going to go through life with finger problems? Probably. But like I get and see why people would be like, oh dude, just get the pain out, I'll take this. Whereas like I prefer try to do ibuprofen, which who knows, man. You take enough of that, it gives you an ulcer. It's a really, really weird thing. And guys listening, I'm sorry, I am in the position where I cannot be smoking weed. Otherwise, I'll definitely be trying trying that. But,
Yeah, I don't, and I don't have any inclination to try smoking marijuana, but I would not be opposed if it were legally possible to try THC related products or CBD oils to address localized pain and things of that nature.
yeah,
I wouldn't be against that, but it's just you and I are both in professions that don't allow us to do that. So,
yeah,
um, yeah, you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't when it comes to pain. I had a buddy of mine just started jiu-jitsu not too long ago, and he sent me a text earlier. I'll read it verbatim. It kind of made me laugh.
okay,
I really enjoy these text messages that I get from, it's actually a group text with two guys that just started jiu-jitsu, and it's hilarious. And so he said, note to self, going to jiu-jitsu after getting a cortisone shot is not smart.
what do you get it in?
I don't know. He didn't specify, but it's pretty damn funny either way.
Yeah, cortisone shots seem to be the temporary solution to a permanent problem sometimes, I feel. Like, we'll just put this in your knee and you'll feel fine. And then come back in a month when it wears off. Like, ugh.
It does make you feel weird. I got one time in my leg, and my foot flopped around like it was in a clown shoe for the next 2 hours.
Oh,
But
shit. Yeah, it's probably all the pressure on the nerve or something.
yeah. So here's another example of a funny, we should start a thing like new guy texts.
Okay, I like it, man. Let me see if I might be able to fish them out. I'm listening though.
So the one guy says, remember, this is 2 new guys in jiu-jitsu and then me. It was only 3. He says, one guy says, "Gis are stupid." And this is after training. It's always after training.
Right.
And then he says, "You're wearing a noose. Why would you wear something so effective at choking?" and I said, "Because you wear a noose every day you wear clothes, homie." And he said, "Not that thick. I'm not wearing a robe like Hugh Hefner."
Fuck. Well,
and it goes on from, and it's just funny shit. The stuff that they come up with.
Let's see. Oh, damn. Sorry. Everything I look up for BJJ is just like, hey, you still teaching? Hey, you still teaching? Hey, are you still teaching? Hey, are you still at the club in Wiesbaden? No. Sorry, guys. I'm not. Hey, I see you run the club in... No. What is this? Who's this guy? I don't even know who that is. Jeez. Come on, new people. Fuck. Hey, if you're listening, send to our Instagram some of the most outlandish BJJ text you've gotten. Because I remember I got one. Some guy was he was a Navy guy that I worked with in Virginia, and he was like, "Hey, what time is Juice Jitsu today?"
Juice Jitsu.
Yeah, I was like, "What? What are we going to today?" But yeah, not Juice Jitsu, Jiu-Jitsu. And yeah, I'm really, really looking for going through all this shit. People I haven't talked to in forever. Not forever, but mainly.
Well, this guy also missed a day of jiu-jitsu a while back because he cut his hand doing axe throwing.
That's pretty badass, actually.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty good story.
I enjoy good. We actually have an axe throwing board in the backyard. We'll bust it out if you guys come out.
Hell yeah, we'll do that with some bourbon too.
Oh god, dude, I had to actually stop that one of the nights we had a party. It's like 11:30. We're outside by the fire pit. You just hear like somebody. It sounded like the what is it? The stripper pin coming out of, or the stripper clip coming out of an M1 Garand. You know, that loud metal ping.
Yeah.
Then I look over and it's like my friend Alyssa and her wife trying to throw the axes into the axe board, and they're just like coming out all fucked up because they drank, I think, a little too much bourbon. But there
That's hilarious.
Well, man, we definitely went all over the place. Here's the rules, guys. Try not to do drugs and do jiu-jitsu unless it's THC. I'm down with that. There, that's my whole. That's what I'm getting from this episode. But
and then drink and throw axes.
Don't do that shit either. That's dangerous as fuck. Anywho, so you got anything else for Randy before we head out?
I don't. Just we're back at it. Keep training, and yeah, send us some shenanigans on Instagram. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, you probably have like a giveaway or some shit here in the future too. Loyal fan giveaway or something like that. I think we got some. We still got some jiu-jitsu shirts and big jiu-jitsu shirts floating around. We do one of each, maybe. I think we'll post that up this week.
Yeah, sounds good.
Shirts. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the Big Jiu-Jitsu Show. Don't forget to check out our sponsors, Trap and Roll Soap Company, Tape Armor, and Rolls Gear. And you can find all of our old episodes at bjjshow.com. I'm Rob.
I'm Randy. One more thing.
Yeah, go for it.
Epstein didn't hang himself.
Still, 5 months later, he still has not. So we'll catch you guys later.